Welcome to Colonel Football Weekly, as we take an inside look at Nicholls State University football. Today's program is presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, the official sports medicine provider of Nicholls Athletics. Colonel Football Weekly is also sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets. You're either local or you're not. And People's Health, your Medicare health team. Hello and welcome to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. I'm Mike Wagenheim, alongside the Associate Head Coach of the Nicholls football team, Chuck Hepola. We appreciate you pinch hitting today, my friend.
I appreciate it.
You're here because Coach Stubbs is no longer with us, unfortunately, resigning over the weekend due to some health issues, and I'm sure our viewers have noticed as the weeks have gone by, grown a little bit more frail, and just time to step away and deal with the issues at hand right now. We wish him all the best.
Absolutely. And we as a coaching staff and our football program do the same. And Coach Stubbs has done a lot of tremendous things for this program as far as getting the program going in the right direction. And we can't thank him enough for his contributions. And I know personally as a mentor for me and a friend, and I've learned a great deal from him, and I just cannot thank him enough.
He inherited some issues when he arrived here, and a lot of those straightened out. The academic progress rate is amongst the best in the Southern Conference.
Right.
Graduation rates sky high. Great work in the community from the team as well. Coach Stubbs in his 4+ years here did a lot of good things.
Oh, without question. And I mean, that's the name of the game. And we tell our athletes they're student athletes. And so their first priority is obviously to get that degree. And that's our number one priority, is to make sure that, first of all, we want them to play well on the field. There's no question about it. But ultimately get that degree, because they're making decisions right now in their life that affect their future wife and children who they might not even know. And so getting that degree is going to help them to have a bright future, and also be big for our community or whatever community that they go and live in the future.
An announcement will be made this week as to an interim head coach. We'll, of course, talk about that more on next week's program, but we want to thank you for filling in here with us. And time to talk a little bit about this past week. And unfortunately, a tough loss for the Colonels, coming back home, the only home game in the first 6 weeks, facing Henderson State. And fans look at it, well, this is a D2 program coming in here to take on a D1. This is no ordinary D2 program in Henderson State, a very, very good, nationally ranked, high-powered offense. And they came in here and showed why they're on top in their level of competition.
Absolutely, and ranked number 5 in the nation. They were a number 1 ranked offense. The previous season they were 11-1, 11-0 during the season, lost their playoff game. So they have very talented players. I know their head coach is a veteran coach that's coached at numerous universities, had a lot of success. So again, just like what you said, there's certainly no slouch.
Well, let's go back and take a look. A grueling schedule for the Colonels to start their season. Saturday would serve as their only home game in the first 6 weeks. And again, this was no cupcake. The Reddies of Henderson State came in ranked number 5 in Division II. They've led the nation in offense each of the last 2 years and registered a blowout victory in their 2014 opener. The Colonels started the season with losses at Air Force and Arkansas, the first ever SEC opponent. Henderson State wasted little time getting going. Quarterback Kevin Rogers, a candidate for D2's version of the Heisman, rushes for 7 yards before getting walloped by the Colonel's Cameron Brown. Rogers was groggy, but he wound up staying in the ball game. Obviously woozy with the footage there. Henderson State's scoring drives last year averaged just 2 minutes and 3 seconds. This one lasted 3.5 minutes, a 9-play, 75-yard drive. Mark Souse with a 16-yard touchdown reception. The Reddies were out to spoil Nicholls' party. HSU went for 2. They lined up in a split formation, and Zouse would run it in 8-0 in favor of the Reddies. Nicholls knew that HSU would throw everything they could at them. A display of that right there on the 2-point conversion. And that included defensively as well. They threw the kitchen sink at the Colonels. Nicholls advanced the ball past midfield just once in the first half. Josh Davis sacks Colonel QB Kalen Henderson here on Nicholls' opening drive. 1 of 5 sacks for the Reddies on the night. Nicholls without injured starting running back Michael Henry, and HSU came after Kalen relentlessly. Henderson State driving again, 3rd and 4 in the red zone, and Josh Dewey comes up with a big play, taking down Joseph Snap for a loss of 1. HSU kicker Houston Ray then missed a 31-yard field goal attempt. Nicholls down 8 after the first quarter. but the Reddies convert a big third down to start the second. Rogers connects with A.J. Smith for a 10-yard gain to the Colonel 36. Rogers completed 23 of 35 passes for 169 yards. Henderson State goes to their ground game here as Derek Ponder carries it over the goal line from the one. HSU not known as a running team, but they netted 212 yards on the ground in this one. Nichols down 15-0 at the half. Colonel legend Ladarius Webb in town for the day, looking on from the sideline here, trying to rally the troops in the red and gray. Tough first half for the Colonels. What was the mood of the team in the locker room?
The mood was, what you would expect. I think our players were certainly disappointed because we want to, obviously we wanted to put points on the board. Obviously we want to be in the lead. But at the same time, our players understand that it's a four-quarter game. And so, we made the necessary adjustments and they got back out on the field. And our kids played much better in the second half. But, I'm not going to sit there and say that we weren't disappointed because we were. But at the same time, our kids have they fought and clawed all year long, and they'll continue to fight and claw all year long, and that's what we expect from them.
No doubt about that, and we saw that in the second half of this one. Let's take you to the second half of play. HSU, nearly 50% on third down conversions. They convert here 13 yards from Rogers to Laquan Cole to the ready 43. Cole was instrumental on this drive. Houston Ray would then make good this time around. He delivers a 43-yard field goal, putting Nichols down 18-0 with 10.5 minutes to go in the third. It is time for Nichols to make some things happen, and they do it. Nichols approaching HSU territory with a 13-yard pass play from Kalen Henderson to Reggie Wilson, who led the club with 48 yards receiving on 5 catches. Then Kalen Henderson showing perhaps more mobility on this coming play than any other since returning from his leg injury last season. Kalen going 18 yards to the Henderson State 35, cutting left and right. Couple of good jukes there, shaking the defense. Kalen with a team-high 14 carries for 58 yards. This is a methodical 11-play, 76-yard drive that consumes nearly 5 minutes. Tobias Lofton caps it with a 5-yard sprint here to the pylon, his second TD of the year. Nichols on the board with 5:37 to go in the third. It's now an 18-7 contest, second touchdown of the year for Tobias Lofton. Now the Colonel defense had to make a play. HSU started with good field position at their own 48, but on the first play of the drive, here comes the spark. B.T. Sanders for the Colonel, the youngster, the sophomore, picks off Kevin Rogers. His first career interception. A good return afterward, but much of it lost on an illegal block in the back call. Still, the momentum is back in the hands of the red and gray. As emotional as they've been all night right there, you can see it, they feel it. The momentum is possibly turned in this one. Big conversion coming up on 3rd and 10. Nothing downfield, so Kalen Henderson motors for 18 yards to the Nichols 45, and the Colonels, they're in business once again. Work the ball past midfield, then get it done on 3rd down once again coming up here. Henderson finding his 8th target of the night. It's Kyron King over the middle. The ball is jarred loose here, but came after King hit the ground, so it's blown dead. First down at the Reddies 30 as the third quarter comes to an end. Now that drive would stall, but Francisco Condado with a 34-yard field goal attempt. It is good, and it brings Nichols within striking distance. It's 18-10 with an eternity to go, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. The defense forces a punt, but then disaster strikes. Henderson fumbles the ball at midfield, trying to muscle for a few extra yards. It is recovered by Glennon Bobo of HSU. The win is taken out of the Colonel's sails as Henderson State takes possession with a little over 11 minutes left. It was just the second turnover of the year for Nichols, but a costly one at that. Jaquan Cole scored from 2 yards out to make it 24-10. Henderson State, one last shot for Nichols to get back in it on 3rd and 2 from the Colonel 29. Henderson finds Damon Bolt, Nichols' playmaker from 2013, who sat out the first 2 games of the year. This completion moves the sticks, one of 5 catches for Bolt. But 2 plays later, the ball hits the turf again, recovered by the Reddies' Lawson Schultz. Henderson lying prone on the turf in a tough start for him. HSU added a late field goal. That was your ball game, 27-10 in favor of the Reddies. They are all tough to take, but this one especially so, Coach Hepola.
Yeah, without question. And as we spoke earlier, we played a lot better in the second half, but with some costly turnovers, which we have not turned over the ball much this year, but just an unopportune time. I mean, we've got to make sure that we take care of the football. That's the number one thing. And ball security, we say that's offensively, that's our currency. And we just didn't take care of the ball at the appropriate time, and they were able to capitalize, and we didn't.
Henderson State changed their game plan up a little bit, it looked like, and rushed the ball more than they had in the past. Where the Colonel, did you guys see that coming?
To be quite honest with you, that's probably a question you'd have to ask, Coach Adams, just because I'm on the offensive side of the ball. I don't really watch any of their offense, but I'm sure just like any offense, you're going to take what the defense gives you, and that's probably what they were doing. I really can't speak to that, but I just know our kids, fought, and in the end, we just had some costly turnovers that really just affected the game.
How tough was it? How much did it affect you guys not having Michael Henry out there to try to establish that?
Well, without question, Michael Henry is an outstanding football player. He's also an outstanding leader, and he's also an outstanding young man. So anytime you eliminate, a person like that from the equation, you're not going to be at quote unquote full strength. And so, that was huge not having him with us. And so, having him, you never know. Of course, it could have affected our run game a little more because he's a physical back. He's got great speed for his size, and so it was just disappointing that he wasn't there. But there's nothing you can do when you have an injury and it keeps you from playing. So,
hopefully, he'll be back this weekend.
Absolutely.
I'm here with Associate Head Coach Chuck Hepola. We're going to take a timeout here on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodeau Regional. The Colonels have North Texas coming up next. We'll talk about that when we return.
In sports, you strive for first or best. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodeau Regional is both. The region's first comprehensive sports medicine program with a team of the best sports medicine trained experts. You're serious about the game. We're serious about your safety. With advanced concussion testing technology and certified athletic trainers, we're keeping athletes safely in the game. Play hard. Play to win. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodeau Regional will help you play it safe.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day. Come on, Chef. Let's go shopping. All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
you know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day
and get our best price every day. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for.
At People's Health, we know that when it comes to health, what works is teamwork. Each People's Health Plan member has a team of talented professionals working together to coordinate care so our members can do what they love to do.
That's what we do. We're here for you with People's Health.
People's Health, your Medicare health team.
We welcome you back to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodeau Regional. Mike Wagenheim alongside Nichols Associate Head Coach Chuck Hepola. You guys have North Texas on the docket this weekend, your third FBS opponent on the road in 4 weeks. They are off to an okay start this year, a high-powered offense again, but a young team. How do you take advantage this weekend?
Again, like you said, outstanding football team. They've played some really good teams right off the bat. They've had a lot of success the previous years, going to bowl games and so forth. And so, the bottom line for us, just like any game that we play, is just about our execution. We've got to execute our game plan. We've got to make sure that we stick together, stay together, and that's ultimately what we've got to do. Because we always talk to our team about really our ultimate goal is to have personal excellence. I mean, we're out there on every play. We got to strive to execute, and that's really what matters. So,
Colonels visiting North Texas on Saturday. The Mean Green are off to a 1-2 start with a loss at Texas to begin the year, followed by a convincing win over SMU and a Conference USA setback versus Louisiana Tech. It's a team that forces turnovers. They capitalize in the red zone. They're also very inexperienced. Only 15 of their players have earned 2 or more varsity letters. Coach, you talk about the football being currency. That's your currency. Yeah. North Texas, they're a bunch of thieves as far as that currency goes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And really at the college level, any team you play, that's the number one thing they're going to try to do is strip that football and get that football from you as far as turnovers is concerned. So our guys have to just make sure that they have good fundamentals, high and tight with the ball, and just make sure that we hang on to that ball and just keep moving those sticks and then punch that in the end zone.
All right, we got you covered this Saturday as Nichols visits Mean Green in North Texas. We start the day on the Colonel Sports Radio Network, presented by your local Super Chevy dealers with the Colonel pregame pass on KNSU 91.5 FM. That begins at noon. Then at 1 p.m., it's Colonel Weekly on Fox Sports Radio, KJIN AM 1490 in Houma. We'll also carry the game live. At 2 o'clock, it's a Colonel Countdown throughout our network of stations, including our flagship ESPN 100.3 The Game, which can be heard in New Orleans, the River Region, and the Tri-Parishes. Kickoff is slated for 2:30. You can watch it live on the new American Sports Network. A half hour after the game, tune in once again to KNSU for extended post-game coverage on the Colonel Roundup. Now, this past Saturday, prior to the Colonel's home opener, the Nichols Athletics Department held its annual Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Among the 4 inductees, Gerald Butler, a great receiver on the earliest clubs in program history, who is still a favorite around here, even though he married the enemy.
I want to start off with asking you to join me in welcoming my lovely wife, Della. Remember, Troy State is one of our tough opponents. If we got past them, we thought we'd have a good season. Della is a graduate of Troy State. She is.
Also inducted was NFL star Ladarius Webb from the Baltimore Ravens, who comes back to Thibodaux each year to host his camp here at Nichols. The school still holds a very special place in his heart.
Thanks to the people, the community of Thibodaux. I got around and it reminded me of home. It reminded me of Opelika, Alabama, where the people are just great, respectful, talk to you, and they really took me in. They were great to me. The lunchroom ladies, the bookstore ladies, the library, just everyone, just kind of family around this university. It's not a very big school. It's kind of small, and with that, everybody know everyone, and everybody are close, and everyone kind of help take care of each other, and that's why I just love me some Oklahoma State, and I love this team.
Well, Ladarius Webb is still the only player in NCAA history to win his conference's Offensive, Defensive, and Special Teams Player of the Week award in a single season. That's some versatility. Our own Jansen Verdon catches up with a couple of current Colonels who are showcasing their diverse skills.
Many find it difficult to juggle the responsibilities of college life. However, 2 Colonels have taken on an extra challenge and are playing not only 1, but 2 sports here at Nichols while earning their degree. Senior defensive back Byron Cobb has started on the football team for 3 years while serving a dual role as an outfielder and pinch runner on the baseball squad. His teammate, senior quarterback Kalen Henderson, joined him on the diamond last year as a pitcher. Cobb became interested in playing both sports for the Colonels after being recruited by both then head football coach Charlie Stubbs and head baseball coach Seth Thibodeau.
I had built a great relationship with Coach Tibb while I was in high school, and also towards the end of my senior campaign in high school in football. I developed a relationship with Coach Stubbs as well, so therefore I wanted to play both sports, And he told me that it was going to be very challenging, but I stuck with it, and I'm still here for my last year of football right now. So,
well, the first way I came about to play baseball was Coach Thibodeau met my uncle who got drafted in 1981 by the Chicago Cubs and played a little bit of baseball, and was kind of familiar with him. Just wanted to see if I, just kind of ran in the family, and if I had, could play a little bit of baseball. So that's how that came about.
With the interest of Coach Thibodeau and a little influence from Cobb, Henderson decided to add baseball to his resume, which is something that Cobb was very excited about.
Oh, man, that was great. I told him, when I first told him that Coach Tibb was interested because he saw that he had an arm, I was telling the baseball coaches that, yeah, man, his arm is live. If y'all work with him, I'm pretty sure he can do something positive for this team. And as soon as I convinced him, I felt like a kid on Christmas because, you know, I had one of my football teammates come into baseball. So, you know, I felt like he understood me a little bit more than some of the guys. But even though I have a great relationship with all the baseball players, it was just something to add, just to add a little spice, you know.
Convincing Henderson was one hurdle, but selling the idea to Stubbs would prove to be an even bigger obstacle.
It took a lot. It took a whole lot. He wouldn't let me leave early from spring practice to go play baseball. He wanted me to focus on football first because that's who was paying for my education, and so it was kind of tough to get him to give the okay for me to do so. But he finally did. But he told me I had to complete spring practice first before I could even go out or do anything with the baseball team.
As tough as it was to sell Stubbs on the idea, playing two sports as demanding as football and baseball is tougher. But these two athletes aren't letting it slow them down.
You definitely have to know how to manage your time because of the academics. The academic stage, a part of it, you know, because you're always traveling for baseball and you're always practicing hard for football in midweeks and weekends. You don't have that off time because you have games on the weekends, as for baseball as well. So it's like you really don't have that off season, really. There's no off season for me.
But as far as, you know, my social life and academics, it doesn't really change as much. You know, I mean, I'm just away from school a little bit more often than I like to be. But, I mean, it's just, you know, the same as playing football in the fall as, you know, playing baseball in the spring. So there's really no drop off in that area.
Although their schedules are more strenuous than the average athlete, Cobb says the benefits outweigh the workload.
Well, you know, it's definitely time consuming, you know, but there are a lot of faces I meet. I meet a lot of good people. I'm getting extra discipline because of the 2 dosages of teams that I'm on. And actually, it's good. I'm getting very disciplined.
Although the road has been bumpy, Henderson and Cobb have maintained their passion for both sports. After finishing out the football season, they plan on turning their complete attention to baseball, which they have been unable to do in previous years. For the Colonel Football Weekly, I'm Jansen Verdam.
Thank you very much, Jansen. We appreciate it. We're going to take a quick timeout. Mike Wagenheim, Associate Head Coach Chuck Hepola, here with you on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. We want to welcome you back to Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional. I'm Mike Wagenheim, alongside the Associate Head Coach of the Colonel Football Program, Chuck Hepola, and you guys are another week away from the start of Southland play, but it kicks off for a couple of teams around the league this weekend, and the Southland is looking as strong as it ever has.
Oh, goodness. It's about as good as it gets as far as FCS football is concerned. I mean, the Southland Conference putting numerous teams every year in the playoffs, and just week in, week out, you have to bring your A game, and just very, very solid teams.
Take a quick look at some results from this past weekend. Abilene Christian rallied from a pair of 14-point deficits to stun FBS member Troy, the first win for ACU over an FBS member in 55 years. Northwestern State cruised to a win at Southern as Zach Atkins completed 19 straight passes in the second quarter. Sixth-ranked McNeese State evened their record with a convincing win over Prairie View in the Cowboys home opener. Stephen F. Austin racked up 648 yards of offense in their victory over Texas A&M Commerce. 1 week after allowing 73 points, Lamar scored 73 in a shutout of Texas College. Central Arkansas fell at 17th-ranked Montana State after putting a second-half scare into the Bobcats. Houston Baptist took a 5-point lead into the fourth quarter but couldn't hang on at Northern Colorado. Tulane jumped out to a 21-0 lead on third-ranked Southeastern Louisiana, rolling to a win in New Orleans. The number one team in the FCS, North Dakota State, the two-time defending national champs, were too much for Incarnate Word to handle. And in Huntsville, 15th-ranked Sam Houston State stunned by the number 2-ranked team in Division II, Colorado State Pueblo. We are going to take our final time out here on Colonel Football Weekly. Back to wrap things up in a moment. You're watching Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional.
In sports, you strive for first or best. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional is both. The region's first comprehensive sports medicine program with a team of the best sports medicine trained experts. You're serious about the game. We're serious about your safety. With advanced concussion testing technology and certified athletic trainers, we're keeping athletes safely in the game. Play hard. Play to win. The Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional will help you play it safe.
Donnie, I'm in Rouse's at least 3 times a week, and I want the best prices every day.
Come on, Chef. Let's go shopping.
All right. There's got to be at least 1,000 items just on this one aisle.
At Rouse's, we stock more groceries than anyone else.
I can see that. So what's with the tag? Best price every day.
It's the Rouse's guarantee. You're getting our lowest price every day.
So when I see this tag,
you know you don't have to wait for a sale.
I can shop any day
and get our best price every day. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not.
Well, we're all about the people that we care for.
At People's Health, we know that when it comes to health, what works is teamwork. Each People's Health Plan member has a team of talented professionals working together to coordinate care so our members can do what they love to do.
That's what we do. We're here for you with People's Health.
People's Health, your Medicare health team.
Mike Wagenheim and Chuck Hepola here with you on Colonel Football Weekly. It's time to announce our Rouse's Student Athlete of the Week. Rouse's, the official grocer of Nichols Athletics. You're either local or you're not. This week, it's senior forward Lauren O'Brien from the Nichols soccer team. She scored her second goal of the year in a 4-0 win at Alcorn State back on Friday. Coach, 30 seconds left. What's the key to beating North Texas this weekend?
Well, just like I said earlier on, it's just, our kids playing together as a team and just executing our game plan offensively, defensively, and special teams, and ultimately just putting our best foot forward.
Tough time in the program right now. Hang in there. Continue to do good work, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
He's Chuck Hepola. I'm Mike Wagenheim. We will talk to you again next week on Colonel Football Weekly, presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional.
Colonel Football Weekly has been presented by the Sports Medicine Center of Thibodaux Regional, the official sports medicine provider of Nichols Athletics. This show has also been sponsored by Rouse's Supermarkets, you're either local or you're not, and People's Health, your Medicare health team. This has been a presentation of the Colonel Sports Network.